Hello, my name is Cassie Guyon. I'm a recipient of the This I Believe essay contest for the University Honors Program, and this is my essay, The Power of Pretend. I was 12 when my best friend told me she was too old for pretend. I was stunned, shocked, speechless. Before that moment, it had never occurred to me that pretend was something that could be outgrown. Pretend had defined my life. I had spent my years reading every book I could get my hands on, acting in every show I could audition for. And up until that day, I had spent hours with my best friend disappearing into worlds we'd made up, full of castles and magic and goblins and ghosts. I had believed we would do so forever. A year passed. I entered adolescence. I started high school. I was finally cast in major roles. But the day that my best friend had found herself too old for pretend stayed with me, and I couldn't help but wonder, would I one day be too old for pretend? And what would happen to my life when that day arrived? I was 13 when I started writing, stories based on the imagination games my best friend and I hadn't played in a year. I wrote about princesses desperate to escape their lots in life, readers who read their way into their books, young girls who found themselves different without knowing how to be. I wrote about the characters I read about, the characters I played on stage, the characters I saw in my head, even as I struggled to answer those seemingly unanswerable questions. Would I one day be too old for pretend? And what would happen to my life when that day arrived? And out of that struggle came a third question. Had I already reached that day but somehow failed to notice? And I wondered, and I acted, and I wrote. I was 15 before I saw what should have been obvious, that despite all my questions and worries, my reading and writing and acting had made my entire life about pretend without my even realizing it. I was not too old, and if I planned my life right, I never would be. 6 years later, my long-ago best friend and I are in the same field. She is teaching theater to kids like her, who one day decided that they were too old. I am teaching theater to kids like me, who haven't yet asked the questions that haunted me for far too long. She wants to show her kids that they can regain what they once lost. I want to show mine that they never have to lose it. I believe in imagination. I believe that in issues of poverty, slavery, oppression, persecution, and universal hardship, our ability to envision a world different than our own has been our saving grace in the past and will be our salvation in the future. I believe that the day we believe we are too old is the day that we as a civilization cease to move forward. I am 21 years old, and I believe in the power of pretend.